Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales of Plenty. This is a podcast where a newly married couple shares stories with each other, and there's a new theme every week. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you're excited to be here.
We are.
We are. We have a pretty special episode today.
Oh, who are you, first of all?
Oh, I'm Kendall Runquist.
And I'm Logan Renquist.
And
we're married.
And we're married, as I previously stated. Would you like to tell them what it is?
Yes. The episode you're about to consume with your ears is special. Yes. So like we said last week, we actually did it. We went on location here in Austin. We did a DIY ghost tour. We did a little create your own little spooky ghost tour.
Yeah. So a couple things to emphasize that I want to emphasize.
We recorded mainly in our car, so just apologies for whatever happens in our microphones.
Or you can emphasize it. That works too. But yes. The audio might be a little lower quality because we didn't have our full setup that we normally have.
We were in my tiny car.
Yeah. So the audio might be a little bit rougher around the edges. We'll see what happens. I haven't actually edited yet. And the other thing is there were a couple times that we got a little freaked out that we were going to get in trouble. So we wanted to just kind of hurry up through the story. So it might feel a little rushed at times. There was one time we were sitting, you'll hear where we were, but there was one time we were sitting in your car and we noticed a security guard showed up. So all of a sudden we had to hurry up and record it.
And it actually scared the crap out of me because we were in a remote location and no one else was around. And then all of a sudden there's a security guard. So it actually very much scared me.
Yeah.
And so it was a panic. And you probably hear panic in our voices because we are in fact panicked.
Yeah. So there's that. And that was kind of it. But besides that, really hope you enjoy the episode.
Hope you guys enjoy Tales of Plenty on the road.
So Logan, where are we?
Hello, Kendall. Presently, we're in my car. Let me turn the air off so that it doesn't keep making sounds. We're in my car. Why are we in my car?
I don't know. You dragged me in here. I don't really know what happened. You dragged me in here, threw all of our podcast equipment at me, and then drove off.
Yes.
So why
Just
are we
like that.
now sitting in a parking garage?
Well, I wish I could say if you look to your left, you'll see, but unfortunately we are in a parking garage, so you can't really see anything. But we're about to discuss the Texas Capitol building in downtown Austin, Texas.
I mean, at least if I look to my left, there's a to Capitol button. There's also now a car that just turned on. Ghost. It's a ghost.
We didn't see anybody walk up. That's kind of creepy. So let me tell you about some of the ghosts in the Capitol building.
Okay.
So my sources are curbed.com, austinghost.com, and textgenwebcounties.org.
Okay. TextGen Web Counties.
I forget what that stands for, but basically it's...
Good luck finding that again.
Basically, it was a website of all of the counties in Texas, and it had like legislative stuff, and it had court documents and things. Anyway, so I don't know how much you know about the Capitol building.
I know. Well, I mean, we visited it a couple times.
Yes.
So that's where they make laws that tell me what I have to do.
Sort of. I was basically meaning like how much you know about its paranormal history.
Oh, I know none of it.
It is one of the most haunted buildings in Austin. So probably because it's so old, a lot of people attribute that to be the reason why it's so haunted. And just the mass amount of people that pass through the walls and, doors and stuff. So The first ghost I'm going to tell you about is the ghost of Robert Marshall Love. Robert Marshall Love was one of the men who helped seat the 14th state legislature in 1873. So Robert M. Love was a member of the Confederate Army. He fought throughout the Civil War, and he became a county deputy sheriff in 1872. And so he worked his way up the political ladder, and he also served as U.S. Marshal. He was elected to the state comptroller role and served from 1901 to 1903. So it was really cool because I went on that weird website that I described earlier, and I found a document from a descendant of him named Kelly, and she sent a letter along with permission to post it, basically about her ancestor's murder. So what they think happened is it sounds like his murderer, whose name was William G. Hill, he thought this guy Love either got a position instead of him or wrongfully got the position, like by cheating or something like that. So the story goes that the comptroller Love was shot at his desk in the first floor of his office and is said to walk along the promenade in front of the Capitol building on misty days. So he was murdered by this guy, William G. Hill, and he wrote this long letter, and I'll post a picture of it. But the end of the letter says, "If this is true, you are a murderer of the deepest crimson hue," which I interpreted to mean, if this is true, his falsifying of votes or whatever to whatever end this guy thinks that he must have wronged him in some way. So if this is true, if that fact is true, you are a murderer of the deepest crimson hue. Although I cannot help myself, before laying life's burden down, I shall strike a blow, feeble though it be, for the good of my deserving fellowmen, for the right against the wrong, for the weak against the strong. Yours truly, W.G. Hill. That ending made me think of Hamilton and Aaron Burr.
Oh, yeah.
And because they go, I have the honor to be your obedient servant.
A dopper.
Not him.
Bum.
Yes. So he was shot and killed in his office.
Wow.
By this guy.
Did you just like walk up and kill him?
Apparently he was served the letter, and as he was finished reading, the legend goes, this guy just popped him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now he haunts the halls of
the front outside. Like that front long promenade.
Yeah.
He haunts that. And if you go on a misty day, like maybe if we drive by right now, it's kind of misty. Maybe
we'll see him.
We'll be there. Yes. Ooh. So the second ghost, who is supposedly in the Capitol building, is the Lady in Red. A mysterious lady in red seems to wander the Capitol. Cleaning crews have seen her in the third floor office. When they approach, she vanishes around a corner. It's rumored that this woman held secret trysts in nearby stairwells with a man who once worked in the office, although the identities of the man and the woman remain unclear.
Secret trysts.
Secret trysts, yes. Politics and all that good stuff. The last ghost that I have for you, the article that I got this from, they called this segment Handprints in the Window.
Okay.
Which kind of scared me, kind of very scary. But the story goes that in 1983, a fire broke out in the Capitol building, and the fire completely gutted the place, and it killed a few people. One of those people that perished was a 23-year-old document caddy. That's another word for an intern, like a law intern. Rescue efforts were too late, and the firemen watched in horror as the building burned. The room he was in went up really quickly, probably because it was full of documents. The rescue team, they managed to tame the flames to part of it, but a window, the one they particularly needed to get into to get the kid out was locked and impossible to open. The whole room was destroyed, but that pesky bolted window somehow survived. To this day, no matter how often the window gets cleaned, the handprints materialize whenever there's a cold front or it's raining cats and dogs. The condensation blankets the window, and fingerprints and handprints like those found on a bathroom mirror start to form. And there was a quote on this website that said, "We've replaced the window and the panes. No matter what we do, they reappear."
Whoa.
After a while, they vanish with like a quick scrubbing, but no amount of cleaning or replace them will actually make them go away.
Wow. That is creepy.
Right? I know. So, is it that poor intern that died? Or, I don't know, faulty cleaning supplies?
I mean, if they've even replaced the panes of the glass and it's still showing up,
Yeah.
it's got to be a ghost.
I mean, that window was the only thing left of that part of the building in that
Yeah.
room. So,
Wow.
I don't know.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Shall we tally ho to the next one?
Sure.
All right. Okay, we're back.
We're back.
So, guess where we are now? I mean, there's a sign, I guess.
Yeah,
but-
there is a sign.
So this is the Inn at Pearl Street, or the Austin's Inn at Pearl Street, depending on your vernacular that you want to use.
It looks like it's a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, it does say that on the sign too. So yes.
I can read sometimes.
So I'm just going to jump into telling you a bit about this place. It is a little boutique hotel. As you can tell, it's very tiny.
It is very small. This street, by the way, is incredibly narrow.
Yes, it is. But that's because this is one of Austin's oldest homes. So it's in one of the oldest neighborhoods in Austin.
I would buy that.
The original building was commissioned by Judge Charles A. Wilcox at the end of the 19th century. It was constructed in 1896.
Aww.
After it was done being constructed, the judge and his family quickly moved in and they started having very extravagant parties.
Ooh.
Oh, and I forgot to mention this. My sources are austinghosts.com, which is
Nice.
obviously a very good source of ghost stuff.
Yep.
It became a cultural icon of the era, and interesting comment that it had in the article was that the house always seemed to reflect the current prosperity or decline of Austin. So whenever Austin was economically prosperous, the house would be really extravagant, look super nice. Whenever people would start falling on hard times, the house would start to become a little bit more decrepit looking and things like that. So a quote from Jill Beckford, who is the current owner in this article. She's the current owner of the inn.
Right now.
Yeah, currently. But she was quoted in the article that I read that she said, "The home sort of became the litmus test for Austin. You could pinpoint the highs and lows of the state of Texas just by looking at its patio." And of course, eventually the Great Depression hit, and it really took its toll on the judge and his family to the point where he ended up losing his home. And after he did, it started to become more and more derelict. Eventually, the judge died, and the house was given up to the state of Texas, where they bought it, obviously, from him, and then they sold it to a housing development firm. And it sort of became a few random things, like a halfway home, a place that people squatted sometimes.
Random.
And it just kept becoming more and more derelict until the early 1990s, when it was sold for a fraction of the cost of the house. Jill Beckford is the one who bought it, and she fixed it up and turned it into the vintage hotel, restoring it to its former glory.
Oh, well, it's really cute.
Yeah, it looks really nice now, but at the time it was decrepit. So they went through a lot of renovation to bring it back to restoring it to kind of its vintage look. Ever since she's bought it, she said even during the renovations, there was ghostly activity throughout the house. She recorded accounts of brooms falling over and lights switching on and off, as well as random cold spots throughout the house. Since the opening, guests have also continued to report strange activity to the house to the staff. They have reported several apparitions, including the most famous one that's been reported here, which is a woman in a rocking chair holding 2 babies. And she's just rocking back and forth, nursing her children in a tranquil state.
Well, that's not too scary. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's nothing scary. There hasn't been any like murderous ghosts or anything like that. They all seem peaceful.
So she's just chilling.
Yeah, she's just chilling, just hanging out
with her babies.
Mm-hmm.
Cute.
Oh, that scared me.
That was a baby crying.
That was weird timing.
No.
So some of the other activity that guests have reported is random noises from empty rooms, walls screeching from the inside.
Screeching?
Yeah, screeching.
No.
So as if there was something in the walls.
Okay, that's one thing. I don't know much about home renovations, but you don't want your walls to screech.
Nope, you don't want that to happen.
That is a bad sign.
They've also heard music blaring from vacant rooms, as well as conversations in empty rooms, and a sing-song voice whispering a lullaby.
No.
So obviously there's some sort of weird paranormal activity going on at this place.
Like I mentioned in the last episode, there's like nothing scarier than whispering.
Oh yeah.
So sing whispering.
La, 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 la.
Shut up. You're going to scare everyone.
And it's been enough activity that they've had exorcists come to offer help to try to rid the place of ghosts. But Jill has declined all of them because she believes that the ghosts are friendly and she says that they are free to peacefully live here.
Oh, that's nice.
That's kind of it. Just a little bit of history about it and some of the ghostly activity that goes on at this place.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go on to the next one.
Let's go. We're on stop number 3.
And we're on top of a building now.
We are. We're not on top of the building that I'm talking about, but it's nearby. I unfortunately don't think you can see it from here, but we are in a really pretty area.
Yeah.
We're in a parking garage, but on top this time. So right now we're looking at the Indeed building, the Chase building.
There's a loft over there.
A nice loft, a nice old building right there.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
See to your right, you see all those old bank lights?
Yeah. We're like, what, 8 stories up now?
I believe we are 8 stories up. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the Driscoll Hotel.
Okay.
Which is a very famous hotel here in Austin.
We've been in the Driscoll.
We have been in the Driscoll. I'm going to give you a little bit of history about it. The hotel was built in 1866. The Romanesque revival structure could essentially be said that it was purchased with blood money.
Okay. Scary.
Let me explain. So the hotel was commissioned and paid for by its namesake, Jesse Driscoll. Jesse was a successful cattle baron who moved to Texas from Missouri with an eye for making a lot of money. Turns out he was a warmonger. This article called him the
Surprise.
Yes. This article called him the spunky entrepreneur, a self-made beef baron.
Okay.
He broke the bank when he started selling his cattle to the Confederate Army, which we all know was the other side of the war.
Right.
We're talking
the
Civil
other side
War.
of the wall. We've already made one Hamilton quote. Might as well make a second one.
Yes. See you on the other side of the war. Yes. So after the Civil War ended, Jesse looked at his kingdom and realized that he was rich. So the Civil War was a very, very bloody and deadly war.
Oh, yeah.
And all of the bloody cash had flushed him with bank vaults of money. And in a couple of years, he became one of the richest men in the entire state.
Wow.
So he decided to buy himself a hotel. Shortly after it opened up, I believe it said it took 2 years to build, so pretty quick it went up. Shortly after it opened, Jesse, quote, blew his earnings on booze, women, and gambling. Yeehaw!
Nice.
Jesse,
it's the best 3 things to spend your money on.
Okie doke. Jesse had no choice but to forfeit ownership of the Driscoll almost immediately after it opened up because Jesse lost the deed at a poker table. So the author of this article, his name was Sam, it looks like Yurtse. I'm not exactly how to pronounce that, but Mr. Sam, we'll call him. His quote says, one of Jesse's favorite rooms in the Driscoll overlooks 6th Street and Brazos. And there was a consultant in town who woke up one night to see a gentleman standing in his room, looking out the window about 3 o'clock in the morning, puffing on a cigar. And this is in the modern time, so obviously you can't smoke in a hotel. And the guy sat up in bed and said, "Hey, fella, what the hell are you doing in my room?" That was the ghost speaking. And
Creepy.
He looked at the guy and he said, "Your room?" The consultant leaned over and snapped on the light by the bed. And when the light came on, there was no one by the window. But the curtains were swaying and there was still a cloud of cigar smoke in the air. So, kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's very creepy.
And also...
I keep forgetting this is an audio format and my eyes got really wide.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't
But I
see.
can't really...
Emote
that? Yeah.
Like,
so I was like...
that was your eyeball.
Oh my goodness.
So Jesse's painting hangs in the main foyer, and it said his eyes follow you around when you move. We've been there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That painting definitely gave off hella creepy vibes.
That thing's like big.
Hella creepy.
And creepy.
Very. So you walk down this, it's a gorgeous marble entryway, beautiful stained glass light fixtures in the ceiling. You keep walking, and kind of at the end where there is a staircase that I am assuming takes you up to maybe some of the rooms or maybe a lounge, an eating lounge or something.
Yeah.
But you walk up like 2 little steps and then it kind of it forks into 2 more staircases. There's that big painting of him.
Yeah.
He's just standing there like, "Hello, I own this
lording
hotel."
over the hotel, yeah.
Except for, lol, he lost the deed in a poker game. So why are you here? But anyway, so he apparently really loved the place and is still said to stick around. But There's a couple other ghosts that are said to haunt the Driscoll.
Okay.
It's on many ghost tours. The Driscoll is also, in addition to the Capitol that I did, it is another very haunted place in not only Austin, but Texas as well. So there's another ghost called the Bride. In the early 1990s, a distraught bride checked into room 329 or 525, depending on what account you're reading. I found many
so they don't know
misconceptions. Exactly. Not misconceptions. I found many discrepancies. Conflicting opinions, yes. Whatever the room, she checked into the Driscoll. Her fiancé had just called off their wedding.
Ooh.
The woman had decided to blow over $40,000 on a shopping spree and a culinary free-for-all on her second day of mourning. On her third day of mourning...
Does that mean she just like ate a lot of food?
Or she just purchased it.
Oh, okay.
And just like kept it. Or she just went to a couple of restaurants and ordered the most expensive items.
Gotcha.
I don't know. It didn't specify.
Okay.
But so... on the shopping and food totaling for that day, her grand total was over $40,000 in cash. So on her third day of mourning, as they called it, she lined up all her swag next to her bed, pulled out a gun, and put the gun in her mouth and killed herself.
Wow.
She used a pillow to muffle the sound of the gunshot.
Jeez.
To this day, guests swear they see her ghost towing bags up and down the halls of the hotel. So in other accounts as well, it said that it was, again, discrepancies on this, but there is said to have been 2 brides that committed suicide. This was in the same room. Apparently 20 years before this one, there was another bride who found out her fiance was unfaithful. And
there's a lot of unhappy almost marriages
Yes.
going on.
And
Glad we didn't stay there before we got married.
Right. And so she was found out that he was unfaithful, called off the wedding, and she also committed suicide. And it's supposed to be spooky because they're supposed to have killed themselves in the same hotel room 20 years apart.
Oh, creepy.
So if you want to Google it, they call them the suicide brides. I mean, there's a lot of discrepancies in the research. But yeah. So one more real quick.
Yeah, we got time.
For history buffs out there, perhaps the most famous ghost duet to haunt the hotel is the couple Lady Bird Johnson and LBJ. The pair had their first hookup/date in 1934 in the Driscoll's dining room. For years, they flocked to the place to not only relive their former glory days, but also for special occasions like anniversaries.
That's sweet.
And the Driscoll became Lyndon Johnson's favorite place when he visited Austin. So much so that he watched the results of the 1964 presidential elections from the presidential suite. The Driscoll was, and quite possibly is, LBJ's favorite place in Austin. To this day, people recount tales of stumbling into the ballroom and catching the reflection of the late president and his adoring wife on the mirrors or out of the corners of their eyes. So
maybe they're still staying there.
Maybe they're still staying there. Maybe they are still very much in love and just hanging out. I thought that was kind of sweet.
Their time together even after death.
That would be insane to walk into a ballroom and think you see a former president in the corner of your eye.
And his wife.
Insane.
That is insane.
And my last one real quick. Sorry. Yeah. I actually had two more.
We have time. We're not even at 30 minutes yet.
So you know the singer Annie Lennox, right?
No.
Okay. Well, she sang Sweet Dreams Are Made of This.
Yes.
That was a terrible rendition of that. But you know what I'm saying. So she was formerly of the Eurythmics and, did awesome hits. She's an awesome woman. Anyway, she had a personal experience there.
Oh, okay.
So apparently,
I thought you were going to say that she haunts the hall.
Singing
that song.
I believe she is still presently alive.
It's just like midnight. You're walking to the bathroom and you subtly hear, "Sweet dreams are made of this." Ooh.
Do you think a ghost would actively do that after they've said something or spoken in like plain English and then gone, ooh?
Yeah, that's how I envision ghosts. They just always go, ooh, after they do their creepy thing.
I'm just going to say this one thing I need to tell you and ooh. So anyway, the story goes that Annie was in town in Austin on tour and couldn't decide what to wear on stage that night. My girls, how many times have we had this problem? We don't know what to wear. Oh my goodness, I got two options. Somebody help. So she had laid out her two favorite dresses on the bed before showering. And she goes and showers. And when she returns, one of the dresses had been put away. And no one had entered her room or exited her room.
Creepy.
She was completely alone. She will tell you that she thinks one of the Driscoll ghosts apparently decided to appoint themselves her stylist for the evening. And she wore that outfit and I'm sure just rocked the house. So, yeah. Apparently, nice. Annie Lennox had an encounter. And they were helpful, which...
they picked out a dress for her
I love.
Outfit.
Because sometimes, you know what? Sometimes we just need some kind of intervention to pick an outfit. Any kind of intervention.
Yeah.
So, helpful.
That is helpful. I could use a ghost that tells me what to wear every day.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice.
And I did want to mention, I don't know if I'll post the picture or not because I didn't write down the full story, but there's also supposedly a haunted painting in one of the hallways of the Driscoll. It's interesting because the art in the Driscoll very much matches the style of the architecture. Mm-hmm. It's very old style paintings. It feels very Italian Renaissance, a little bit more modern. People are dressed a little more, I'm talking like by modern standards, I mean in the 1800s is probably what they're dress is like. But there's a portrait of a little girl that is supposedly haunted. People walk past it and get creepy feelings. They feel like there's something evil lurking, and it's interesting because the picture, I don't find it creepy, but you might.
A girl.
It's just a beautiful painting of a little girl. I mean, I could see under certain lights maybe
in person it's creepier than.
I mean, maybe it's just a beautiful little girl, has like a dress on and pretty hair, and but apparently it was supposedly commissioned for this little girl who died, and that's why her spirit attached itself to this painting, quote unquote.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Spooky Halloween.
Spooky Halloween. Okay.
All right. Well, once we finally get down these 8 stories, then let's head off to the last location.
Sounds
ready?
Good. I'm ready.
All right. Let's do it.
Goes the blood in the shit.
So the final location that we are at, that we'll also hopefully be dining at tonight,
yes,
is called the Moonshine Patio Bar and Grill here in Austin.
The downtown location.
Yes, the downtown. You're right. The downtown location specifically. My sources for this were the Moonshine's website and various traveling articles. It's housed in a part of the old Waterloo compound, which is an original grouping of some of the oldest buildings in Austin. And it's located where the pre-Austin 1835 settlement of Waterloo was established. In 1852, a German settler named Henry Hauntings built a cabin in part of the Waterloo complex.
Hauntings.
Yes.
Is that like Hauntings Honda? No.
Is that I don't even know what that is.
Hauntings Honda, I think, is in Dallas.
Maybe distant relative? I have no idea.
That's funny. I don't think it's spelled like that, though.
To make his living, he hauled freight from Mexico and sold goods around the village of Austin, which is a very strange thing to think of Austin being a village.
Yeah, it is super not a village anymore.
Nope.
As we stare at all the high rises.
Yeah. And the expanding, sprawling city that it is now.
There was a security guard. We might be getting in trouble. I just saw him pop out.
Oh.
If he would have tapped on the window, I probably would have pooped my pants.
He eventually built a small building near the cabin to serve as a warehouse for his store of trade goods. It was often called the Sunday House. It got its name because of a common arrangement between city and rural German settlers. On Saturday, Hauntings would clear the space to let rural families stay overnight so they could attend the market and church the next day. There used to be many Sunday houses in Austin, but this is now the last remaining one. And in 1854, Hauntings purchased more land and built a 2-story building next to that other building, which now serves as the Moonshine's indoor dining area.
Gotcha.
There were several other expansions added until he eventually passed away in 1880, when the Reisig family purchased the store and property after his death and continued to run it until 1952. It exchanged hands several times since then until Moonshine was established in 2003. So they've been there 17 years.
Very cool. That's a long time for here.
Mm-hmm. And there are many ghosts suspected to haunt the property, possibly due to drownings that occurred in the nearby river. And then the ghosts just kind of latch on to that building.
That's crazy.
Reports include getting tapped on the shoulder and your neck getting licked.
No. I just have so many questions. Like, if it's a ghost, is its tongue wet? How do you know it's a tongue? How do you know it's a lick?
You're thinking too far into it.
Ghost lick, band name called it.
Others report mirrors falling, flying, wine bottles, and phantom rattling.
Ooh.
So, you hungry yet?
I mean, yeah, I'm super hungry, but now I'm very scared of getting licked by a ghost.
Well, let's go find out if we're going to get licked.
I'm scared.
Let's go eat.
Okay. Boy, I'm full.
Oh, so full. Full belly.
Moonshine definitely delivered with the food.
Not so much the specters.
No, I'm sorry to say. I was really looking forward to getting tapped or I was not looking forward to getting licked.
Sorry, getting tapped sounds weird.
Does it?
I'm looking forward to getting tapped.
Is that something that's something in Urban Dictionary that's gross that I don't know?
I don't know. That just sounds like it should be.
Well, I was looking forward to any kind of ghostly apparition.
Do you want to get licked
No.
by a ghost?
I did not want to get licked. So I'm glad that didn't happen. So, but they definitely delivered on the food.
Yeah. And it was cool to see the building in person too.
It
and
was
actually
cool.
be in there and eat.
That was super cool.
But yeah, we didn't feel any ghosts. Yeah, and there was no mirrors flying. I didn't see any wine bottles try to get us.
Although we did hear something fall. But I think someone
we
just
did.
dropped a tray of
That's
plates.
what they want us to think. But it was really a ghost.
Okay. Did you tell me you saw something in the bathroom?
Oh, just I forgot to mention it when I was telling you the story. But there's like a cellar, so those stairs that go down into where they keep wine, and that's where before they owned it, back with the other people, they kept wine in there also. And that's just one of the other parts of the building. So it was just cool to see that the stairs were there. The stairs were there.
And something also that we noticed, they have a item on their menu called Sunday House.
Yeah. It was called Sunday House.
Yeah. So as you described, there was an item on their menu, which is cool because we've been there before and I did not know what that meant.
Yeah.
Now we do.
It was kind of cool eating there while knowing the history behind that building.
Yeah. And they have a historical marker outside, which if you know me, I love a good historical marker. And just the fact that it was outside the restaurant was pretty cool. That made me very happy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. So next time you go to a place that might be kind of historical, like Moonshine here in Austin, I definitely recommend looking into the history before you go. It's just kind of gives a whole different angle to your dining experience, and it's really cool.
Yes.
So we both enjoyed that.
Yes.
So
know before you go.
Yeah. So no ghosts, but definitely do that at least. And I definitely recommend that because it was fun.
Yes. I had the fish. What did you have?
Pork chop.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So you want that Wikipedia roulette?
Yeah. Okay, I got my Wikipedia roulette. Are you ready?
Hit me with it.
Layer by layer.
Okay. I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to let you just read it.
The layer by layer method, also known as the beginner's method, is a method of solving the 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube.
Oh, okay.
Many beginners use this approach, but it also forms the basis of the speed cubing technique. Amazing. So basically, you take it line by line.
I thought that was going to go with cooking, as in a layering, like layers of a cake. I thought it might go with construction. I thought it could go with layering a bed with blankets, literally anything except a Rubik's Cube.
But now I'm curious what the speed cubing technique is.
I used to I used to know the method of how you can do it really fast.
Well, you probably did this.
I probably did it and I didn't
cubing.
even know it.
This is the speed cubing is sometimes called the CFOP method, sometimes also known as the Friedrich method.
So I'm going to do a little bit of the CFOP method and get into a little bit of the Friedrich method and then speed. And then I'm going to flip this over here, do a couple spins, and that's it.
Wait. Czech speed cuber, from Czechoslovakia. And the namesake of the method, Jessica Friedrich, is generally credited for popularizing it by publishing it online in 1997.
Well, there you go.
Okay. So this chick is a professor and she is really smart.
She developed the speed cube technique.
Apparently. That's nuts.
It used to be a thing. I don't know if this ever happened in your high school.
What?
People would bring it
Oh, yeah.
and play with it.
Yeah. Well,
And you
the
have the
nerds
guys.
did.
Well,
Sorry.
wah, wah.
Sorry. So you probably did it like this. Let me describe. First, a cross is made on the first layer,
Yep.
consisting of the centerpiece and 4 edges.
Yup.
The first layer, corners,
Yep,
and
yep,
edges of the second layer are put into their correct position simultaneously.
And then you get one face. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and then you have like a whole face that has the right color.
Which, yes.
Yep.
The last layer is solved by first orienting and then
Oh, yeah.
permuting the last layer of the cube using a few sets of algorithms. I don't
Totally.
know why I read that
I
entire
totally
thing
knew
like
that.
a robot.
Yep. Yep. No.
No?
I mean, maybe. What I did was I went to rubikscube.com or whatever it was and then downloaded the like 12 steps instructions that told me what to do, and then I followed it. And then I did it really fast
Yeah.
by practicing.
That's called speed cubing, which also
Yeah. There's crazy
Sounds
videos out there.
gross.
I don't know if you've ever seen them, but there's like crazy videos of people like doing it in seconds
Hey man.
with one hand.
Hey man, are you speed cubing?
They even have mats and like timers and everything. And like by the time they place it down on like, they'll pick it up, do it really fast and put it down, and that's their time.
No thanks.
Yeah, I used to be into this. But anyway, that's a little bit about me.
I've never been under any delusion that you are
A nerd.
not a nerd. I know that you are a nerd.
Thank you.
So,
Living my proudest nerd life.
as well you should. Live your proud nerd life.
Woo! Anyway, I hope everyone really enjoyed our episode. It was definitely kind of a more special one this time around.
Spooky Halloween.
Couple things before we sign off is to be sure to like us on Facebook, Instagram, leave us reviews. But more importantly than any of that, honestly, is the best way you can help us grow is just by sharing this podcast with your friends and family. If you think they'll enjoy what we do, then please let them know about us so that we can spread our podcast around, grow some more. Because we don't put a lot of money into like marketing or anything, because it's just you and I doing this mostly as a hobby. So we're trying really just to rely on word of mouth. So that's the best way. If you really like what we do and want to support us in some way, then that's by far the best thing you can do is just spread the word about our podcast. Anything else you want us to mention?
No. Spooky Halloween.
Hope everyone has a good, spooky, scary Halloween. And I am Kendall Rehnquist.
I'm Logan.
This has been Tales of Planning. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.